Welcome, everybody, to episode 253 of WordPress Weekly for Wednesday, November 9th, 2016. I'm your host, Jeff Chandler, joined by Marcus Couch, whose Cubbies have turned into World Series champions, unfortunately.
Not for me.
Well, yeah, right.
I'm waiting on my box of Cleveland stuff to arrive.
Yes. Speaking of that, next payday. Next payday,
Okay.
I will ship you a box of Cleveland items. And
No rush.
that's because it was a hell of a game, and that's one of the reasons why we got so ingrained with baseball. And during I could not concentrate. I couldn't do a show with the World Series game on, so that was one of the issues there. But and that was a hell of a World Series, hell of a Game 7.
Oh man, I think that's the best baseball game in history.
So there you have it. So I lost. My Cavs won, but your Cubbies won.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna have to come up with something new for next spring or something. I don't know. Maybe another Bulls Cavs. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. So we're back at it here. It's been a little while since we've talked to you. I know a couple of people have missed us, so glad to be back here talking a little bit about WordPress. Now, on the previous episode, I know that I mentioned we were going to go in depth and do a preview show of WordPress 4.7, but as I found out today, it's best for us to wait until WordPress 4.7 hits release candidate 1, because at that point, pretty much everything that's going to be in WordPress is in WordPress, because that's what the whole release candidate process is. It's supposed to be software that's in a state where you be willing to or able to ship it to a production environment. So as it's still in the beta process, in fact, either tonight or probably more like tomorrow, WordPress 4.7 is going to hit beta 3, and things are still in flux. We'll get into that in a little bit. So we're going to hold off on our WordPress 4.7 preview show until RC1 comes out, which gives us an opportunity to sort of catch up on the news of the past 2 weeks or so.
Yes, and it's not election related. Thank God.
So I'm going to let Marcus reconnect here because he's getting his audio. Yeah, the audio is doing a little thing. So I'm going to let you reconnect. And I'll start off by talking about BuddyPress 2.8 development has kicked off. And there's also a survey that's open for developers for 2016. Now, BuddyPress 2.8, apparently the target release date is set for January 25th. And this release is going to be focused on developer-oriented features and for site builders, which has kind of been the case for the previous couple of releases. So longtime contributor Slava Abakumov is leading 2.8 with a focus on reducing the tickets that are in BuddyPress track. And what he's trying to do here is coordinate contributors on working on the user interface for developer features that were added in 2.6 and 2.7, which happened to introduce an API for group types. He's going to dive deeper into security, and he's going to, it looks like, perform a security audit of BuddyPress. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes up and what the results of that are. Now, there is a survey available. If you go to the buddypress.org, there's a blog post up. I think it's the most recent blog post. The survey opened on November 1st. It closes on November 20th. So if you are a developer, you have an interest in BuddyPress and want to help shape its future development, now is a great opportunity to have your say and take the survey. And we'll keep an eye on BuddyPress developments. But yeah, like I said in the meeting, they've decided that 2.8 is going to be released somewhere around the January 25th date. So it'll be shortly after the new year. We'll have a BuddyPress Christmas present for those who use it.
Nice Triple J stocking stuffer. That's going to be cool. I'm excited about that because I'm now using BuddyPress with my membership coach site, and it sorely needs a big upgrade. So I'm looking forward to that.
So WordCamp US, it's a little more than, actually, no, it's a little less than a month away. It's in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, it's in about 3 or 4 weeks. It looks like 3 weeks. So it looks like they're estimating about 3,000 attendees. That's a hell of a lot of people for a conference. Yeah. But last year, the live stream tickets you had to purchase them. They came with a cost, but you also got a free T-shirt. Not a free T-shirt, but a T-shirt or swag as part of the purchase. Well, this year, the organizers have announced that live stream tickets are free. So if you are not able to attend the event and you want to be able to watch the State of the Word presentation or any of the number of other presentations that are going to be at the event from the comfort of your home or wherever there's an internet connection, you can sign up and register for a free live stream ticket on the website. And there's also, they've created this page where you're able to test your computer or device for compatibility ahead of the event, so that you'll know that you'll be able to watch the stream with little to no issues. So that's pretty cool. And then if you want a commemorative T-shirt, they're going to be on sale in the WordPress swag store. So that's pretty nice. So not only will you get to watch the stream for free, but as an add-on, if you want to get a T-shirt, you can do so. They've given that choice up to the viewer. So pretty cool announcement. And I bet you there's going to be a lot of people signing up for that free live stream, people from all across the world. I can't wait to see the statistics after that.
I'm one of them. I'm not going to be able to go this year just because of new assignments and work and stuff that I'm involved in. But otherwise, I'd love to go. I wonder where next year is going to be, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But that's a great development. So schmucks like me can watch the stream and interact. I think that's going to be a good thing.
You ask an important question, and it's I've heard some other people ask that as well. Have the location and dates been chosen for the 2017, 2018 WordCamp US? And so far, there's been no new information about that. And I have a feeling, and I bet you this is going to happen, but I bet sometime during the State of the Word by Matt Mullenweg, he's probably going to announce the dates or the venue location.
Yeah, maybe.
But it is kind of weird that I can't even remember if I saw an application process yet for the event for the cities to apply for next year. It's been a while.
I remember that initial thing, but I don't know if they've even finalized, because remember the last time that they announced who had entered, at least what the cities were.
Yeah, this was before the first WordCamp US. They actually organized this in 3 months. The first one, they did a hell of a job. But and by the way, the organizers and everyone else, it really, really helped them out a lot by having the venue and location planned out a year in advance. Mm-hmm. They had everything all set, and now it's really taken a load of stress off of the organizers, and now they're able to do some other things and concentrate in different areas. And the fascinating thing to me about this is that they're estimating 3,000 attendees, so people actually being there physically at the event. Tickets continue to sell, so if you're still looking forward to attend the event, there's still tickets available. And they're saying that the maximum capacity has been published, and the organizers still have some flexibility. But they say there's a couple of rooms in the Pennsylvania Convention Center that they don't even plan on using, even though they're going to have 3,000 people there. That's crazy how many people they can house at this thing.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing what transpires from that event and see what cities are actually able to hold that many, because then you've got logistics requirements. I mean, that's feeding 2,000-3,000 people all at the same time. That's crazy.
So I want you to take a guess. WordCamp US, I mean, that's a considerably sized stage. It's going to be live streamed. Yeah. How many speaker submissions do you think the organizing team received this year to speak at WordCamp US?
80.
Just take a guess. You are 520 off.
Oh,
so the team received 600 submissions this year, which is up from 231 last year, and they ended up accepting less than 10% of them. So they were really, really focused on the types of presentations they wanted to add to the event this year. But wow, 600 submissions. That's a lot of speakers.
That's too much.
And I got to imagine that some of that number is one person submitting different talks, different subjects that they would like to talk about. So
Changing the title.
yeah, something to that. I don't know, or just a different subject in general. I don't.
Right.
I'm sure that's part of the number there. But
Yeah. If I see one more session on podcasting and WordPress.
So speaking of WordCamp US, it's that time of year where the survey is available. So the 2016 WordPress user survey is available for people to take. If you visit WordPress.org, up on the top of the site, you'll see a red banner that says "Take the Survey." So you click on that, and there's a couple different questions in there that ask you things like, how do you use WordPress? Do you make a living off of WordPress? Roughly how many sites have you built? There's also 2 questions in there that ask you, what's your favorite thing about WordPress? What's the most frustrating thing about WordPress? And there's a couple other questions in there as well. Now, results from the survey, and typically this happens every year, they're shared during Matt Mullenweg's State of the Word presentation. But last year, results from the survey were omitted for whatever. Matt Mullenweg chose not to add them or present them during his presentation. When he was asked about this during the question and answer portion of the presentation, he responded that most of the stats were pretty much the same as the 2014 survey, where lots of people were making their living with WordPress. People loved the community aspects of the software. A lot more people were using WordPress for app development. Now, he did say that he was going to write a blog post about it to try and show off the data that he had acquired. But up until this point, that blog post has been published. So there's kind of it's kind of up in the air if we're going to see the 2016 results in his presentation this year. But I imagine we will, because we don't know. We didn't see any from last year. So, I mean, I think it would just make sense. And those are always some cool stats to see. And we're looking forward to seeing those numbers here. Now, in 2014, by the way, in that survey, 33,000 people took the survey. And of those 33,000, about 25% of respondents said they make their living from WordPress, and over 90% of respondents said they built more than one site. So there you go. Quite a few people out there using WordPress. Hopefully we can get that number from 33K and jack it up, because I think the more data, the better.
Yeah.
The more interesting the results in aggregate.
Absolutely. Yeah, so fill out that survey. Link to it at wptavern.com, I'm sure. And I took the survey, and
I did as well.
The more the merrier.
I did as well. Okay, so the WordPress plugin team, they've published revamped guidelines for the plugin directory. Now, these guidelines have come under scrutiny throughout the course of the year, especially when we talked about issues about incentivized reviews or developers submitting frameworks. There's some issues with the guidelines where they were too vague in some spots or not specific enough in some spots. 2 months ago, they ended up putting these revised guidelines for the WordPress plugin directory on GitHub for public feedback, and this actually allowed them to be transparent and open about the process of updating the guidelines, and they actually ended up with 12 contributors that submitted pull requests with improvements to the language and the content of the guidelines. So this is really cool that they actually opened it up for the community and those who have an interest in this to be part of the process, to actually contribute to these guidelines. So in addition to rewriting them, the team actually did this. They codified the expectations of developers and sort of explained the cost of not abiding by the guidelines. So they kind of highlight some of the consequences that would happen as a result of not following the guidelines. Mm-hmm. There is also a reminder that the plugins are removed sometimes for security issues and things of that nature. So if you have a vested interest or an interest at all, if you're a WordPress plugin developer, or maybe you're thinking about creating a plugin and hosting it on WordPress.org, give the revamped plugin guidelines a read through because they're a lot more specific and do a lot better job at the language is a lot more clear and the expectations are more upfront versus everything being so vague.
Yeah. And I hope that they'll spell that out to everybody throughout the submission process, because we know the people that are the gatekeepers in terms of the plugin submission process, and they're fair people. They know code, they know the way it works. It's just from what we've heard, even when we interviewed Mika Epstein, what did she say? She gets like 600 emails a day or something like that.
It's an insane amount.
Yeah, the more efficient that we can make that process, the better. And I'll tell you, for the last 10 years, the very first site I go to every morning without fail when I wake up is to see what new plugins have come out. And that's why I'm the plugin guru, right? So
yeah, that's not the first thing I do.
Well, and I've noticed a lot of kind of like bad ones coming out lately, and you see them in waves. Like one guy will make an implementation to do one thing in Twitter, and then all of a sudden the next day there's 6 more plugins like that. And we need some sort of streamline in that whole process. And I think we need a better tagging solution too, that we can have a better search capacity. Search is getting better, but it's not quite there yet.
And a side benefit of clearing up the language with the guidelines is that they're setting the stage or setting the foundations towards getting more contributors on to help to become gatekeepers. So we're going to have more gatekeepers, and if they have clear and concise guidelines to base their reviews on for the plugins, that'll help them out, and that should also make things a little bit more streamlined and efficient.
Right, because then you've got a checklist in order to be the guard of whether this plugin can pass through the gate or not, as a reviewer. And if you've got that clear, concise list, then it's easy to follow it and easy to understand if something passes the test. And
their guidelines are just that, they're guidelines, and some of them are vague, and some of them need, you're going to have these case by case, one-off cases where you're going to need more clarification. So that's where somebody like a Pippin or a Mika would come in handy to actually say, to look at these case by case issues and be sort of the person above the reviewer to give the final say.
Right.
So they're creating the system and streamlining the guidelines is probably one of the first steps in making things a lot more efficient.
Yeah, because they're not going to do this for 10 more years each.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Setting the stage for future generations of plugin guards.
There you go.
So Pressnomics 5 has announced
Yes.
that they is scheduled for April 6th through the 8th, 2017, you guessed it, Phoenix, Arizona. And Pressnomics is actually an annual conference devoted to the economics of WordPress. And it's going to be held at the same place it was held last year at the Tempe Mission Palms Hotel. That's a great venue. I actually attended, what was it? Let's see, one was, till 2015, no. Yeah, okay, Pressnomics 3, which was held in January of 2015. And let me tell you, folks, Phoenix in January is awesome. I live in Ohio. January in Ohio, not awesome. So it was great to have the conference in that location at that time of year. I had a really good time. In fact, I think I remember coming on the show and saying that one of the coolest things about Pressnomics was sitting at a table, and to the left of me, people were talking about customer acquisitions, and the people across from me at the table were talking about signups, renewals. How do you contact your customer? How do you get them to sign up again for another license? And then, like, maybe to the right of me was about efficiencies, dev tools, streamlining your work environment, stuff like that. And it was just cool to sort of be in the middle of all these cool conversations that were happening at once. And that's the thing that Pressnomics brings these business owners, developer types all together under one roof. And it's a great conference. And in addition to all that, one of the best things about Pressnomics, and this is something WordCamps can't do, and this is something independent events can do, is contribute to charity. So since Pressnomics won the first event, they've actually raised over $40,000 for various charities over the years. So we're talking about St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, CureSearch.org, Ben's Bells, and Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So every year they've they've generated somewhere along the lines of $10,000, and they've always donated that to either one or a couple of different charities. So that's another cool part of the event. So if you're interested in attending Pressnomics, and now tickets are not on sale just yet. They just announced the date, so you can kind of have a heads up. Keep tabs on the Pressnomics website. No, I don't.
What were they before? I don't know. A couple hundred? 500?
No, it wasn't that expensive.
No?
No, and then in addition to the ticket price, if you want, there are going to be 2 different social activities that you can purchase separately, part of the event. They're going to be $50 each, and one is a golf tournament. I know a lot of people enjoy playing golf during that weekend, and there's also an excursion tour where you can explore the arts and culture of the area. So for an extra $50, you can get together with a group of people and do a social activity, or you could just hang out around Phoenix and do whatever. It all depends.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to go to that. That's driving distance for me.
Oh man, Phoenix is it was a really cool place. I don't know what it's going to be like there in April, but probably not that much different from January. If not, it'd probably be a little warmer.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. And the last news story I wanted to get to today, this actually was published shortly before we went on the air. So breaking news. It's my soundbite. BBPress 2.5.11 is out. When's the last time I mentioned BBPress on this show? It's been a while. So this is actually a maintenance release for all previous 2.x versions.
For all of you that thought it was going to start working cool again, this is just maintenance.
Yes, but this is actually a pretty important upgrade, especially if you want to upgrade to WordPress 4.7 immediately. So there's some technical things that have taken place in WordPress 4.7 that have necessitated this release, and it has something to do with I can't even get into it because it's mumbo jumbo, but there's some technical issues with the Bootstrap stack and where certain things load, and it had to be addressed in both BBPress and BuddyPress to address it. And in addition, John James Jacoby provided an update that in BuddyPress 2.6, per form moderators, favorites, and subscriptions have been fully refactored. He says they're working great, and their findings have allowed them to push performance improvements upstream to WordPress core. So that's really good news, and they've already been employed across the forums on WordPress.org. So another situation of funneling improvements from a plugin for performance into the wider ecosystem of WordPress. So that's pretty cool. So if anybody out there is using BBPress, you'll want to make sure that you upgrade to 2.5.11 before you upgrade to WordPress 4.7. That's the thing I want to hammer home here because of some changes that have taken place. You don't want to upgrade 4.7 and then BBPress. I'm not sure what will happen if that's the case, but I guess we'll find out. After 4.7 is released. That's right. So that's all I have for this week for the really important news that has taken place. I guess we can. There are a couple things that maybe you wanted to address, Marcus.
Yeah.
So what's the first thing on your?
This is both related to me somehow. Okay, so first is DreamHost recently came out with this thing that for $1.50 per domain, they will scan your site with for malware. Well, ironic as it is, I happen to have my main site hosted on DreamHost for the time being. And I got a Google Search Console notification that my site had malware on it. So what's the first thing you do when you think you got malware? Go navigate to your site, see if you get the Chrome red screen of death, which I did. Then I went to Sucuri and did a quick scan real quick just to make sure that Sucuri found something, because that's kind of my go-to source, as it should be yours as well. I run all kinds of malware stuff on there on my site, anti-malware, all the rest of it. As it turns out, it was the header.php file, my theme, that got hacked, and which is a little strange. And And so I logged into my DreamHost account and I ran the tool, the malware tool. And so despite the fact that Google Search Console says I'm hacked, but despite the fact that I'm getting a red screen of death, despite the fact that security says I'm definitely compromised, the DreamHost tool said, hey, everything looks good, with a thumbs up. Your site looks great. So DreamHost, you owe us all a huge apology.
Or at least you.
And well, forget me. I'm done. I'm done. I mean, I've complained about them before, even to people that we've had on the show that are deeply involved in DreamHost. The reason that I stuck with them is because they're local to me and I like to support local business, but I don't think so. I think my hosting is going to be moving east over to the Scottsdale area really soon, if you catch my drift. So that's it for DreamHost. Don't trust them. I wouldn't. And that's just my own opinion, but it seems like every site I've ever put there somehow gets compromised. And I don't know if that's just a lack of security or their network is compromised. I don't know what the deal is, but right now I can't fathom using them any longer. Okay, so the next thing, Jeff, is a big Twitter controversy that I didn't even mean to start. It was just kind of an innocent observation.
And all the people that responded to you, I'll say this, are people who have worked for agencies that have enterprise level clients.
Okay, so let me first say what it is before you kill my story.
All right.
Recently started a project with a Fortune, I'd say 10, maybe 15, Fortune 15 company. It is the largest telecommunications company in the world. The odds are pretty much 50-50 that the phone in your pocket is serviced by this particular company. My job is I help to coordinate changes that happen and occur throughout the system. They don't use WordPress. This place has thousands and thousands of retail locations. They use what's called Oracle Endica, and they also use the Adobe Experience Manager in there. They use Adobe Site Catalyst for their analytics and some of their tracking. And then they've got some credit check things and shipping promos and a promo code engine and all the rest of it, right? All that cool stuff all hooked together. So my comment on Twitter was, I can see why a lot of enterprises don't use WordPress, because I'm now exposed to this gigantic Oracle project that literally 50 people are working on around the clock. And I got nothing but, oh, well, I bet Jake Goldman would disagree with you. First off, I don't really care what Jake Goldman says. Okay? He's not paying my bills. I don't care what he says. It's my job. It's what I'm doing. And so who else? Roy chimed in. A couple other people chimed in. Like I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, I'm sorry, people, but WordPress isn't the be-all, end-all when it comes to web services. And Oracle, Automatic has a nice little building, in San Francisco. Oracle has a tower, okay? They're huge. They have a skyscraper. That's how big they are. And it's all around the world. And I'm not trying to
basketball arena too.
I'm not trying to diss WordPress, but what I'm saying is I can understand why enterprises use this tool because of the fact that there are so many plug and play options. You can migrate on it's not like, okay, yeah, we're going to copy from my test staging site to my main site and everything has to copy over. No, you can do release schedules for just one little component. Imagine doing if you had a widget and you had 4 things in the widget and I only wanted to update the second thing. Only. That's it. From the test stage site to the live site. WordPress can't do that. Sorry.
Yeah, I think people sort of took exception to the fact. I think your tweet was, now I see why enterprises can't or don't use WordPress because it doesn't scale.
It doesn't. Not like this.
Okay. And that's like where people started chiming in.
Okay. So here's the deal. A, WordPress is not the be all end all. B, I don't really care about anybody's opinion. So
Okay.
not
There you have it.
not when I'm making an observation. If I say I can see why, don't go, well, no, you can't. Well, yeah, I can see why.
So what you're saying is you could see why WordPress maybe isn't the go-to for
Yes,
service software in an enterprise environment is what you're saying.
Yeah, and this is a monstrous enterprise. This isn't, just some thing with like 5 locations. This is a monster. This is a behemoth. This is, like $1 trillion company. So I was a little shocked and taken aback by that, but I'm not going to debate my own opinion. It's just my opinion. That's all it is. You can tell me I'm full of crap and laugh and point fingers and do all you want, but in the end, I'm right because that's my opinion and that's what I observed.
I saw the people responding to you on Twitter, and I said, "Well, I could have told you that was going to happen." It's
Yeah.
like it didn't. Those responses didn't surprise me.
I poked a hornet's nest, but people don't get so defensive about WordPress. I mean, I love it too, but I don't love it enough to try and shame somebody based on them working on something that's obviously a better platform for the usage that's being done. So don't know what to say about that.
I know what to say.
Yeah.
You have 3 plugins that you've picked out
Hey.
for us today.
That's right, man. Let's get right to those. That's what matters. This first one is in the repository. It is called Grid Canvas. It's right now in beta. It's going to go to a paid plugin, but right now you can just use it as is and beta test it. And I don't know, probably get good pricing later. But what it does is it takes all the images that's in your post and it creates this cool little grid, much like what you see when you do like Facebook albums or like a Pinterest album or whatever. But then with one, it automatically goes through the API and generates this kind of composite image that then is used in Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that automatically. So there's nothing else that you have to do besides pick which layout you want to use. And if you happen to have more than, say, 4 images that's in your layout, it lets you select which images you want to use. So it's a really cool tool to play around with and get familiar with. It's something that I think is its time has come to be able to shift media on the fly and create something completely different that gets published in social networks. So check that out. It's called Grid Canvas. You can find that in the repository. Second plugin is by our friend Pippin Williamson. And Pippin designed this plugin that really helped me because I have a membership site that has over 50,000 people and I'm the admin to it. This is called Disable Password Change Notifications. And you can imagine being the administrator of a membership site with 50,000 people in it. I get 100 of these a day. And what it does is it disables the notification email sent to the site administrators when users change their password. There's nothing to configure whatsoever. It just disables that function. So check it out. It's called Disable Password Change Notification. And this final plugin is something really nice for people that get a lot of comments. And Jeff, you tell me what your opinion of this is. It's called WP Private Comment Notes, and it lets admins or moderators add and manage private notes for each comment left through the WordPress commenting system. Also, you can share that note with people that left the original comments. So it's almost like you can do a private reply back to that person that did the comment, but you can also make private notes to yourself if you're, say, doing a follow-up piece on a blog that you might have done. You can just kind of notate, okay, use this link, okay, this is this side of the story, whatever you want to do. This is pretty cool. It lets you allows you to do kind of back-end private notes, either to yourself or different mods. It's called WP Private Comment Notes, and those are my plugin picks of the week.
Yeah, I'm just envisioning myself writing a note to self, and I accidentally send the note to the person who left the comment, and it doesn't end well.
Yeah,
it doesn't end well. But I could see this tool coming in handy for those times that maybe it's a semi-legitimate comment, but you trash it anyways, or you put it in, or you moderate it, and then you can write a little note with the qualifications of why you trashed it, except I routinely empty the trash and delete spam comments, and I wonder if that would probably get rid of the
the
notes as
associated
well.
note. Yeah, it would get rid of that too.
So there you go. So I guess it wouldn't be too helpful for me because I like to keep all that stuff clean. I don't know. I hate seeing those numbers. I hate seeing a number of comments in the spam queue. I like it when it says 0. Yeah. That's just the way it is. I don't know. It's a nitpicking thing. But I'm gonna have to give this a look-see.
Okay.
I could see it being handy for certain purposes. I also wonder. I guess if you did a comment note and you made it public, I guess it would send a reply via email to that person using their email address.
Well, you're not making it public. You're sending a private comment to them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm
something
I'm
I don't
interested
know.
in that as well. So
I don't know if it emails or it just leaves it so that only they can see it.
Yep. And that's something I may take a look at some point after the show. So let's see, man, Marcus, we are it's the 9th of November. Pretty soon it'll be gobble gobble time. After that, it'll be my birthday time. After that, it'll be Christmas time. Then it'll be New Year's time. This is that time of year, man, where time flies.
Dude, I can't believe it's November right now. I don't even know what I did nothing this entire summer. I worked.
Yeah, so we're damn skippy. So let's see. Beta 3 possibly tomorrow. RC1 probably, if not next week, then soon after. It probably may be next Wednesday is when we'll see RC1. That'll be cool. And then we'll do the preview show after that. So I'm going to do some searching and dig us up a guest for next week.
Okay.
And also
programming note.
Yeah. I guess we should mention a programming note that due to you get a new gig, we're going to do this show, I believe, on Wednesdays, but we're going to do it at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Noon Pacific.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works out.
I think actually we'll start getting more audience in the little room, the little audience room that nobody ever goes to.
That's right. So
because we never talk about it.
I never linked to it. So we'll check that out, and maybe that'll be most of our guests work remotely anyway, so it shouldn't be any problem.
That's what I mean.
It should be more beneficial, actually.
That's right. At noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, you're either just coming out of your food coma or getting ready to eat.
That's right. So that'll start next Wednesday. Looking forward to that, and that's going to do it for this episode of WordPress Weekly. You can find show notes for this episode and all previous episodes on wptavern.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Jeffro. That's JEFFR0. And Marcus?
Find me at marcuscouch.com and on Twitter at marcuscouch.
Okie dokie. Everybody have a safe, enjoyable rest of the week. Have a safe weekend, and we'll talk to you again Wednesday afternoon. So long, everybody.